Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, the former food stamps program at the market, along with the debit program. And this year, Market Central is co-sponsoring that. We hope to have a more smooth running program for you this year. And we'll be talking about that in this meeting. And we're going to be talking, well, you can read the agenda. I won't go through that, but I would like to introduce the board to you so that you can see the people that are actively working, trying to make this market a more important and more focused presence in our city, so that everybody knows about it and everybody knows what the market can bring to the city. And we even have a program now that we're working with the city on getting the design for the future. You know, we've all talked about that at the market. We had the Jefferson Public Citizen students at UVA doing research so that we could present it to the city to explain how important the market is to not just the economic part of our city, but entrepreneurship, being our connection to local food. It plays a very important role. And we're trying to enhance that and make sure that the city understands, because the city has the power to do something about it, and if we all work together, we really can make a vision, the vision that we've had for the market come to be. So anyway, everybody that's a current board member, or you past too, of Market Central, how about standing up and being recognized and introduced? We're really happy to have you. And she brings a nutritional background to the market. And this is Brevi Cannon. And Brevi's a very active person in the community. He's got his finger in all sorts of pies, and he also has a link to UVA, which is helpful. He's a good writer.
We'll be telling you about 3 pies here in just a little while.
This is Kelly Seppa. And I know Kelly's in real estate, but she's also
I'm a health food nut.
Yes, she's been a fan of the market for many, many years. And she's also a neighbor, which is nice. This is Kathy Kildane. Nobody knows Kathy.
No.
Nobody knows Kathy. Right. You know, Kathy is the, what would we call her? The foundation.
Queen of the market.
Yeah, she is. She is. She is. She brings all the programs. She's now the program director. This is Eric Bethhauser. He's also a new, strong, what would you call it? He's bringing new energy to the Market Central, and we love having him. He was a fan of the market for a long time too. He's also a local music teacher, but he was at the market all the time, sort of like letting people have information about Better World Betty, and we got to know him because we were there at the market too, and we just started working together. We love having him on the board too. Laura Dollar, she's been at the market many, many years. It's great to still have vendor members of Market Central. I myself was a vendor for 20 years. That's so far ago, a lot of you don't even know me anymore. I started out in the market as a vendor also, so did Kathy. But it's still good to have vendor members, and we always encourage people that are vendors to be active in Market Central, because we can't really do a lot if we don't get the ideas from you as to what you think needs to happen at the market to make it better. And we have Lynn Ehart behind you. She has a past in working for public schools, but she's been at the market for many years. What?
He has a past.
Oh,
Past.
But she has worked in public schools and brings a history of that, so she knows a lot of people in the community, and she works on weekends at our market, and we love having her on the board too. So that we have a vacancy on the board, so if anybody wants to serve, there's always room. And
our other current board member now is Eileen Stevens, who many of you know from the market, from Green and Gold, the beautiful flowers down in the corner. And Eileen has expressed her interest in stepping down, but she's going to continue to serve. She just wasn't able to be here today. So that means we do have a vacancy available. If anybody is interested in getting more involved in the organization, I'd love to talk with you after the meeting today.
Especially if you want to be the treasurer.
Especially if you want to be the treasurer.
And Stephanie's here too. And everybody knows Stephanie is the top market manager. You all have known her for many years for all her jokes.
Welcome back.
Brevi is going to kind of MC the rest of the meeting. Kathy, if you have anything else to say in terms of welcoming remarks.
The only thing I'd like to say is, number one, thank you to everybody for coming out this morning. We were very concerned about not having an opportunity for the vendors to get together before the start of the season. And I know with staffing problems and Stephanie's being out and Lucy being overwhelmed, it was just looking like it wasn't going to happen. So we felt it was important enough to try to get people together, to give you an opportunity to talk about the upcoming season and to air some issues, hear about some of the things that we have planned for the season. So thank you all for coming. I'm really thrilled to see everybody here. Thank you. And we hope that we can move it along quickly and answer questions and get some information out to you. Okay, thanks.
Take it away, Brett.
All right. Well, we've got a lot to cover today, and we're going to start with Judy Berger, who's here from Java, who is the sponsor of the SNAP program, which I think is pretty exciting for the market to be able to get folks involved in the market who might not otherwise be able to, and I think, frankly, that's one of the potential criticisms of the market that the SNAP is addressing. So I think it's important that everybody understand the SNAP program. There's a few ins and outs, a few things that don't qualify for SNAP and what does, and how the money gets handled, and that's what Judy's going to explain. Judy is from Java. I'll let you take it away.
Thank you. Okay, so most of you have been with us for a couple years. You know what is entailed with the SNAP program. SNAP is Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program. It's former food stamps program. We have, also we take debit. And I can't concentrate, okay? Okay, so we have two kinds of tokens. We have the little red tokens, if you'll just look at this sheet. The red tokens are your SNAP tokens. They're good for $1. Red. The green tokens are $5 increments. Those are for debit card users.
Note the live action demonstration on the side there.
I'm telling you, this is good stuff. And then we have some other coupons. So let's start with the SNAP. The $1 tokens can only be used for food items that need to be taken home and prepared to eat. Okay?
That's red.
That's red. If you are selling coffee, you cannot take a SNAP token for it. Okay? If you're selling sandwiches or a bagel that they would eat right then and there, that they could eat right then and there, you can't take a SNAP token for that. Okay? So it has to be things that they take home to prepare to eat. If it's a hot food item, basically, you can't take SNAP for it. Okay? Please be really careful about that. Last year, what ended up happening was folks took SNAP for items that they weren't allowed to, and then when they turned them into me, I said, I can't give you reimbursement for this because it's illegal under the SNAP law, federal standards. And then what they did was they took their SNAP tokens and traded them with somebody who could take SNAP, and they got the $5 debit tokens and they got their money. That's fraud. I can't do it. Please don't do it this year, okay? You put us in a bad position. Did somebody say why? No. Oh, okay. So if you can't take SNAP, don't take SNAP, okay? No matter how much the customer says, oh, but I really want that. It's against the federal rules, okay? So that's enough of that.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yeah.
Is it the federal rule that regulates, that says they can't use the food in the place? Because it just seems a little insulting.
No, it's not about eating the food in the place. That's just an easy way to define it.
Yeah, but it's something that they have to prepare at home rather than buy.
It's something that they have to take home and eat.
So is that something that we're getting from above, or
Yes.
is that something that we're defining?
No, that's a federal
Okay.
mandate. It's the same reason why you can't take your food stamps into a grocery store and buy dog food.
Right.
Or a hot dog to eat right there.
And
It's already
And if you
had.
want, I'll tell you why. Because if they would let you do this at the market, if you were allowed to buy, quote, fast food, prepared food at the market, you could then take your food stamps to McDonald's. And that's not what they're for. It's a federal funded program with your tax dollars, and what the federal money wants to do, or the federal program wants to do.
I don't want to talk about the politics of it because they're obviously very problematic. I was just wondering if it was
It's
something
federal.
that was handed down to us or
Yep.
something
Yeah,
that we were
yeah,
defining.
yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So, folks come in with their SNAP cards, their EBT cards, they swipe it. Thanks to a grant from Wholesome Wave, when they get $10 in tokens, we give them 10 of these coupons. that a lot of you have already seen and taken, okay? The same with the coupons. The same rules apply with the coupons, okay? If you slip up, the feds aren't going to come down on you because it's not federal money, it's wholesome wage money. But please keep in mind the nature of why we're doing it. It's to encourage people to buy healthy food, okay? So when you get these tokens, you should also get these, all right? When you're given the coupons, you should also get some SNAP tokens.
At the same time.
Yeah, yeah, you really should. And that's not a huge ordeal, but the whole idea is that they spend it with their SNAP money and they get more healthy food at the market. So do the best you can to try to support the nature of the rule, okay? I'm not going to deny you money for these at all. But don't take them for necklaces and things, because then I will. It is for food. Any questions about SNAP?
How much are y'all going to start reimbursing us for our problems? Time dealing with this.
Well, tell me well, let's talk about the problems when I go through the whole program. Okay. The next ones are the debit cards. Folks come to the market. They don't carry cash with them. They see something they want. If they've got to walk 3 blocks away to go get cash for it, there's a good chance you're going to lose that sale. You can send them to our booth. They swipe their card. We give them the big tokens that are just like cash, and you can give change for them. You don't give change for the red tokens. You can give change for the green ones, okay? They could buy anything in the world with those. It's just like spending a $5 bill with you, all right? The next coupon down here is the local currency. That is funded by City Parks and Rec and JABA, and I might have some wholesome wage money put in there as well this year. I don't know for sure. But that's just an extra $1,000 that we give to low-income families who do not qualify for food stamps, who need help with their food costs. Okay, so we're reaching out to people so that they can have an access to healthy local food, and the money goes in your pocket. It's as easy as that. Okay, the coupons that go with the SNAP program is just extra money in your pocket. Anybody who spends money with the SNAP program is just extra money that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. Okay. Now this year, we had about $25,000 in sales for debit cards. Wow. Yeah, that's like good extra money. We also had about $5,000 for the SNAP and for the double voucher coupons. So that's just extra money that goes in your pocket. Now, as people start to get to understand that they can not have to take cash, then you'll see more of the debit card users. And hopefully it will grow so that we see more of the SNAP users too with the incentives that we're offering. Yes?
Isn't there something about paying some percentage off of, if you take the debit card token?
Okay, first of all,
gets taken out.
if you swipe a debit card, you pay a $1 convenience fee that again just goes back into the budget for paying our staff to be there. Okay.
The customer that's getting it.
The customer pays it.
Right, but I mean us.
When you all turn in your tokens, you pay the same expense to me that you pay when you turn cash in. In other words, if you pay a 6% fee, a slot fee to Stephanie every week, she's not charging you 6% on what you're giving me. I'm charging you 6%.
So you separate them, you don't put them all in together.
Correct.
That's what was bothering me, is that I didn't
You're not
know
paying
that.
twice.
So I got hit twice for the same.
No, you're not. You're not. Stephanie takes out 6% based on what you make from the money. In other words, you turn in say your sales were $100 for the day.
Which is
Maybe
why the envelopes say minus tokens.
right.
Because I don't want you to pay those.
Yeah. So you minus what you turn into me, and you pay Stephanie 6% what she asked for, and you pay me 6% for the rest. Okay? And that 6% goes to pay the staff to work at the market. So you're not paying any extra at all. Is that really clear?
Very.
Okay. All right.
Like mud.
Yes.
If I turn in a debit, do I get?
So the first week is the only time, if you're collecting tokens every week, the first week is the only time you got to wait, because every week thereafter you're going to be getting checks from me. Okay? So it's just 1 week that you're inconvenienced. So we cut the checks and bring it back to you the following week. Yeah.
A couple of quick things. One of the things that we've observed, and you all don't get a chance to see it, so I want to be sure that you know this. when we share a booth at the market with Java, have historically, we get to see the customers that come in and say, oh my God, I can buy that $160 necklace because you can take debit cards. Swipe, trot tokens over, transaction happens that wouldn't have happened if this process wasn't in place. So it really is valuable. We see customers coming in every week. They're starting to really take advantage of it, and they're starting to expect it. And they might very well be disappointed if they come to your booth thinking that, I want to buy $50 worth of meat, or, I want to buy whatever they want to buy. If you say, I don't want to fool with that, that money's not going to get spent with you. So for a very small amount of effort, this could be money in your pocket. But we see it routinely every week. The other thing that I'd really like to say is that we noticed that there were some problems last year. And Judy and Market Central, we've been talking about ways to make it smoother for everybody, but particularly smoother and better for you all. And so we are teaming up this year to staff that booth. And we should have kind of boots on the ground, troubleshooting, and hopefully it will be better for all of you and less troublesome. If you have an issue with it, please let us know. So we are really behind it and really want to see it succeed, but we want it to succeed for you. So that's
I, as everybody in here does, I also work a full-time job, and I can't always be at the market, and that's where part of the problem is that I'm unable to be on site and supervise the people who are running the tent. So
But we're on site, we're here. Green is go, red is no, unless it's to go. Green is go, good change. Red is no change. If you need a reminder, come to the Market Central booth, we'll help you out. This is extra money into the market, extra money.
all right, so there's a question back here.
What about the plants? If I'm selling plants that produce food.
If you are selling plants that produce food, you can sell it to those food plants to a SNAP recipient.
Particularly those snap peas.
Yes. Yes.
I know this doesn't apply to you because I prepare food, but my question is.
Well, the debit does. You can take the debit.
No, I know. My question is about the SNAP.
Okay.
At the bottom, your last bullet says, customer must spend 1 red token for each coupon.
Right.
So that means they're spending twice the amount?
Nope.
Or that's the way it's going to appear to them?
No, they understand that they need to, in order to use those coupons, they got to spend their tokens. That's the main
But
thing.
you're saying, but at the same time you're saying, but you're not going to fall
not
too
gonna
heavily on this?
No, but that's what we're encouraging. I'm just giving you the logic behind it, okay? And actually, some of the, you do the pies, right?
No.
No. Okay.
I'm the pie.
You're the pie.
She's the greenie. She's the healthy one, I'm not.
Okay, now I have my
I take SNAP, she
Hi,
doesn't.
Judy. It's Kathy.
Okay, this is proof that we are all human. Now, somebody else had some questions.
And I'm flattered.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If another vendor does come to me with the red things that they've accidentally picked up from somebody else, and I don't know they're a vendor, and they shouldn't have had these things in the first place, I'm not liable to any sort of fraud or...
Well, it is fraud, actually.
They'll send you out of the
How
country.
do I know that? How do I know there's genuine snap holders or just people that are picking up?
Oh, you mean people who are purchasing from you? Oh, don't worry about that. There's no way we can govern that.
Okay, so I don't need to worry about people.
No, just if a vendor comes to you with...
Show me some ID, this
No, no, that's up to the state to figure out.
Those are SNAP police.
For the same reason, I can use somebody else's SNAP card at the store, and just if I know their PIN, I can, be illegal. And they do it all the time. I know it happens, but no, we're not worrying about that. So, Stephanie, did you have something?
That's why we want vendors to wear name tags, so we know who vendors are.
So if the vendor turns about snap things, I should tell them to go away.
Okay. You had some comments that you wanted to make.
It's additional bookkeeping for me.
You don't have to take them.
I don't.
Okay, then don't worry
I'm
about
just
it.
saying.
Okay.
I have to keep a record of my sales,
Right?
okay?
Yep.
Then I have to set up something else for the ones that I'm waiting for money for.
And if that
And I
is too
just-
much trouble for you, then that's fine.
Well,
This is not,
the business that the only place I've got that does it, so I just don't.
that's fine. But it is
But I'm just
completely
saying
up to
it
you.
costs us something to do it.
Okay, then you don't have to do it. I mean, and sometimes you have to weigh, is it worth the trouble versus the amount of money I'm getting? If I'm not making money on this, you don't have to do it. But if it's worth an extra $100 a week or something like that, you might decide, you know, depending on what your, yes ma'am.
I'm a vendor, but I'm also eligible for food stamps or for food.
Right.
So it
And
doesn't
actually
always
that's
apply
true for a lot of
because
folks.
I could, yeah, we could have, you know, we could use the SNAP tickets and being a vendor. So that doesn't always ring true.
Right, right. Okay, so let's just move along, and I'll show you. These are the envelopes. They have, I'll make sure that whatever envelope you get this year, it has to have one of these on it. If you just hand me an envelope and say, oh, my name is such and such from such and such, I don't have your information, I can't write you a check, okay? Please make sure that these are filled out if you turn any tokens in, that this area is filled out. You can reuse these every week until they're no good anymore, and then I'll give you a new one, okay? But this just keeps the bookkeeping straight. I don't want to not give you your money.
And do not put your tokens in the envelope that you give to me.
Correct.
It happens all the time.
Correct.
But the local currency does go.
Local
This is a
currency
good
goes
point.
to me. Good.
Yes, good point. The local currency, it's at the bottom of your sheet, is funded by JABA and City Parks and Rec. Those go to Stephanie and Lucy. You turn those in with them.
And you take those off of what you would pay.
Still?
Yes. So if you give me 5 local currencies, you know, that's $5.
We subtract that as tokens.
Yes.
Now, if you turn them in to me, all I'm going to do is call up Stephanie and say, okay, such and such turned in local currency. Can you make a correction on their envelope or correct it next week? And we'll fix it. It's no big deal, but it makes it a whole lot easier to keep it straight if those go to her. Okay, other questions? Yeah.
Will there be more currency flowing this year? Because I haven't come across a whole lot in the past.
Yes, there will be another $1,000 worth flowing this year.
This is a spit in the bucket.
Yeah, this is money that just goes right in your pocket. Somebody's just saying, here, I'm spending it, we're going to give it to the market vendors. So.
And that has to be food.
The local currency?
Because somehow I
Yes.
ended up with one last year, and I don't even know how I did it. I remember seeing it. but I
Yeah.
don't sell anything.
Yeah, that's for food. Local currency is for food. We distribute those to low-income folks so that they can get healthy food. Okay, any other questions in terms of just the specifics of this? Yeah.
I have a fuzzy spot on the red token or the red coupon here at the top of the sheet. Do either of those work as food stamp purchases?
They are.
Well, they're funded differently. The
But
SNAP
either are
token,
valid?
yes, for the same thing. They buy the exact same stuff.
All right.
Okay, any other, yes.
So a non-food vendor, the only thing we can take are the debits. Period.
Correct.
End of sentence, that's all we have.
Correct.
But if you take credit cards, you don't have to do anything.
Correct again.
Well, I can't because for some reason my phone doesn't like it.
Okay.
Just pay a monthly fee.
I'm just going to make a comment. I've dealt with these for a couple years in my booth, and it's a little foreign, but I got to say it's been delightful. And when there's been a little snafu with the money and the amount, and Judy's always been very open and welcoming and willing to work it out in my favor. And I think it's a terrific way to support the community. And bookkeeping is a little glitch because it's just a few bucks here and there, but so what? I think it's a fabulous thing. So I encourage people to do it.
One other announcement. How many of you do CSAs?
Clarify that.
Community supported agriculture, where you do a weekly pickup for your clients. You can use SNAP. If your client comes to you and says, I want to pay for this with food stamps, you can run this through me at the market. I can only pay you 2 weeks at a time, so it means that every 2 weeks I'll be giving you money. Last year I reimbursed somebody an entire $500 and found out I wasn't supposed to do that, and that was my fault. But you can use food stamp money to pay for CSAs. Okay, we're going to be under the same tent with Kathy this year. We are so excited that they are going to be, Seal and Kathy are going to be taking over the on-site supervision. We're pulling our money together so that we can bring on the right person. And so they will be there, whereas I will not be, to answer questions and put out little flyers as they happen. I apologize that I wasn't there every time last year. It just didn't work that way for me, so.
Can I add two very quick things? Yes. Signage, will they have new laminated signs this year?
Do you all
Anybody
want
need?
to hang up the signs that say, we accept SNAP tokens, we accept debit tokens?
That kind of makes it easier sometimes. Yeah, because I know there are people that don't know and will walk off. Yeah.
It's up to you.
But if they don't know that it's possible, but you have the sign up that says we accept debit tokens, then they might say, what is that? And then I can take over there and if you've got your card and don't have enough cash.
So we can replenish that supply.
I'll have them kind of little laminator sheets. You can hang them up if you want. If you don't want to mess with them, you don't have to. I'll leave that up to you.
The other thing is I have a really, who asked about food producing plants? So I have a really nice graphic that that somebody sent to me that I'll be happy to laminate for you and anybody else that wants it for food producing plants that you can put up at your stand. But it will let people know.
Yeah.
Right. And it's one of those things. Right. And it's one of those things that a lot of SNAP recipients don't even know. So it helps to get the word out there, but I'll be happy to produce
thought about that. I don't even know if I took them.
herb plants, fruit, any vegetable starts, all of those things really will work.
If you are an EBT vendor, if you take the SNAP cards, I would like for you to, and this will be in your envelope at the beginning of the year. I just wanted you all to see it ahead of time. If you want to take them, I would like for you to sign this that basically acknowledges that you've read the sheet that I gave you and that you understand. So that if for whatever reason we ever get audited, I can say, yep, our ducks are in a row, everybody knows what they're doing, leave us alone. Okay?
The other little thing I wanted to say about it is this program allows us to do gift certificates for the market. Where if somebody comes in and wants to give a gift certificate to a friend that shops at the market, the gift giver comes, swipes a debit card, they get their receipt. We give them this nice little gift certificate that they can then in turn give to the person that they want to give the gift to. The gift recipient brings it to the booth, gets tokens to spend whenever they want, wherever they want, with people that accept them. So that's an extra service that I'd like you to be sure that you know about in case somebody ever, considers it.
What if they brought the gift certificate to a booth?
They can't bring the gift certificate to a booth. They have to come to us to get tokens, and we'll just give them the tokens, say happy shopping, and they go forth. So it works really well.
But if they do bring it to you, you tell them where
right,
to go.
you can tell them where it needs to go.
Clarify that.
So just as a last thought, I've worked with a lot of other markets and a lot of other people trying to implement this at other markets, and they've had a lot of some resistance from farmers who are vendors and people, small business people who just don't want to do this. And I just want to say congratulations that you're bringing in an extra $20,000 or $30,000 every year by doing this. And I think you guys are rock stars.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Well, speaking of you guys being rock stars, we've got a lot of news to share with you this year, but we definitely want to hear from you guys, and at the end of time for anybody to share anything that's been on your mind, because we know that's one of the important functions of this meeting. But we wanted to go ahead and give you the update on a few things we've been working on, and one of the most important is a permanent home for the market. What's the status on that? So you probably know that last spring, City Council appointed a task force to look at different options for where the market could live. And they ended up making a report in July that the best place for the market to be is right where it is, right downtown. And that would be the best for the city, the best for the market, the best for the rest of the downtown business area, the best for the community. And so then the question is, what next? How do we make that happen? And what is it going to look like? So a subset of the group that worked on that task force has formed a new group called the Charlottesville Market District Alliance. And we are working with City Council to put forth kind of what's going to happen next, how are we going to make that happen. The market, the basic vision is that the new market would be part of a development of both of those two lots, the current lot that the market is on and the lot next door to it, the open parking lot, as a mixed-use development that involves lots of, hundreds of thousands of square feet of shops and offices and restaurants and residential potentially, but has a plaza, a public plaza of some sort that would be the home for the market and would be designed from day one to to be the home to the market and to serve other functions, to be a public space, basically. And in a lot of ways, to be an extension of the downtown mall. You know, it's going to be pedestrian-oriented. It's going to be a place for public events. So it's not just going to serve the market, and I think that's a selling point for it, actually. But it's going to be designed for the market's purposes from the beginning. And that's one big difference between it and the downtown mall, and the pavilion and other things that have been cast around for, you know, potential market sites. So we've basically, you know, been putting that together. There's a board of about a dozen of us now. We've got a letter here that we're going to pass around that basically lays out in some more detail what the vision is and what we're going to be asking for City Council to do to help us with it. And essentially we need to get a professional designer and developer involved to kind of flesh this out a little bit. And one of the things that we're starting with are the ideas from the two. In 2007 there was a design competition kind of to the same effect, and it came up with more than a dozen interesting, cool designs. But there was one theme that was common to a lot of them, and that was basically what I'm talking about. Some kind of, you know, development that includes some type of a plaza that allows space for a market in the midst of development that can justify the price of the property that we're talking about. So we were very happy in the fall to hear Dave Norris say that his #1 priority for his next 2 years on council is to try to make that vision happen. Try to, you know, lay the foundation for the market to have a permanent home on the 2 lots that it's on. And Kathy Galvin, we recently met with, and I don't know if you followed the city council campaign. I followed it a little bit. But Kathy's an architect and passionate about urban design and what it can do for the city and how we can do things right and really, you know, add value to everybody involved. And so she came out today to tell you about how she's concerned about this and wants this to happen and what her vision is.
And she's a current city councilor.
And she's a current city councilor.
Thank you. Thank you, Brevi. That was very nice. And it's very nice to be working with Brevi right now instead of campaigning against each other as we're kind of walking around the city market every Saturday. That was one of the first eye-openers for me as a candidate to see just how incredibly vital you all are to the city of Charlottesville. Yeah. You bring in a lot of business to the whole downtown area. So I just want to say that as now a current city councilor, you are extremely valuable to the city, and thank you. Seeing this meeting this morning was an eye-opener to understand all the logistics that you have to deal with day in and day out. It's kind of like when you watch a professional ballet troupe and it looks effortless and you don't realize all the hard work behind it. That's kind of what you all look like every Saturday morning. It looks like you're spinning like a top. That's right. Yeah, the pie lady knows ballet. I know. So I think with that, talking about the city council priorities, in February, early February, we got together with the new councilors and the established councilors. Notice how I didn't say old. And we came up with new priorities to add to the existing priorities. And Councilman Norris was the one that said unequivocally, we need to make sure we have a permanent downtown home for the city market. Okay, so that became one of our 6 new priorities. So I want you to know that. I do want to say, though, that we haven't deliberated this issue on council. My understanding is the next step when we do our priorities is that we're going to have work sessions about each of these topics. And it's also my understanding still that the task force that Brevi talked about, they made the existing site on Water Street their #1 choice, but there still are 2 other downtown area sites that are still possibilities. So I want to tell you that that's still under discussion. We understand as council that this is the priority, is the Water Street site. And I have met with the Market Alliance group. Gary Okerlund was the person that brought me in to talk about all these things. Mr. Okerlund also is another very accomplished designer in his own right, both in landscape architecture and architecture. And so I see the value, as did your consultant from the Project for Public Places, David Neal, for keeping it in the site that it is currently located. We do have to research that. We do need to get the numbers, but it is definitely, you know, the #1 pick on the list. So I would say we need more input from you all. We need to know exactly how you feel. The other 2 sites, I believe, were kind of near the Jefferson School, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And the other site was the one that's near the Ix property, and that's, you know, south of the tracks. And it kind of, that idea came up again with the recent Belmont Bridge competition that the architecture school had, and Brian Weimer had fostered, I guess just middle of February. So I just want to let you know that there's still a couple of other sites in play. I'm leaning towards having it stay on the Water Street site simply because it does look like it's a great extension of the downtown mall. We've got to get the numbers to work out. We've got to make sure we have revenue coming into the city. That's why it's got to have this mixed-use component to it. And so, but I definitely need to be very honest with you. It's not, no one's made any decisions yet, okay? So this is time, this is the time for you to weigh in. It's absolutely the time for you to weigh in.
How do we weigh in?
Well, you can work through us, and we're going to pass around this letter, and you can add your name to the letter, and we certainly want to have as many vendors as possible add their name to the letter, and we're looking to add some vendors to our board of the Market District Alliance, and that's another opportunity. And City Market, Kathy, Seal, and I are all on that board, and you know, we're going to be in contact with you guys every week, and so, you know, if you have feedback, anything you want to share with us anytime, we're ready to listen.
What I can say is that the priority is to stop having this issue roll around and around and around. We are committed as a council to find a permanent home. That is not the issue. Exactly where it's been reduced to be in this vicinity. So that is a blessing. And I remember at one time hearing that it was supposed to be over at East McIntyre Park, and another time people were talking about putting it on the old marching grounds on River Road, or High Street by the river. Those are gone. We've definitely isolated it to still be in the downtown vicinity. And I think the next step is when the City Market District Alliance presents their position. That's going to get things rolling on council. We are going to have a work session about the market itself because it's a priority. So all of this is like in the next couple months or so. Let your voices be known, write letters, emails to council, get in touch with Brevi, make sure that you know what you want to do through them. That's a very good vehicle. And again, I just want to say how impressed I am, how impressive this group is, that you're so diverse, you come from all over the place, and yet you're working together on something. I mean, it's brilliant, quite honestly. So we need to keep you here. We know that. You're a very, very important asset to the city. And now, I guess that's all really I have to say. And I thank you for, I thank Dave Norris, because Dave was the one who was supposed to have been here, and he couldn't make it today. So he asked me to fill in for him. And it was his priority that, we all kind of said, yeah, absolutely. So with that, I will let Brevi take the floor again, and thank you, and definitely let me know how you feel personally too. Yes?
If we have a design question or concern, could we bring that up now? Or?
Sure.
One is thinking about how many vendors are currently in the city market, the space holds, and the proposed site, how many vendors, will it be a similar amount of vendors that it could hold?
That seems to be a fundamental principle, that we're not going to go smaller, okay?
Okay. And then the other one is how vehicles play into the design, as far as for the vendors, will they be right there, how they have them?
And one of the principles that we're very aware of is that we want to make it very easy for vendors to deal with, and that's going to be part of the design from the get-go. We know that a lot of you are, you know, I mean, everyone here doesn't have any more time than they want to have to spend on this, and so that's part of the vision for it. And we haven't gotten to the stage of actually, you know, drawing things that would be easier or more difficult, and that's ahead.
But I do think what you're bringing up is important. If you can just kind of just articulate what your development principles are, what is some fundamentals that are absolutely essential to make your market work, those are going to be really important guides for this process. The other thing I'd like to mention is that we just recently, as a council, approved our first strategic investment area plan. It sounds kind of interesting, but it's an urban design economic development plan, and it's for the area that is south of downtown, and it's going to include Water Street. So what that means is that there is going to be a process that could really help this move along. And we've established a task force called the Place Design Task Force. PLACE stands for Placemaking, Livability, and Community Engagement, conveniently called PLACE, because it's important that we have these kinds of public spaces keeping our city alive and thriving. This is an exciting thing that you do. It's what cities all over the world have, and they're successful because of it. So this group is probably going to be helping the process come up with what are those development principles that can let this thing happen, so a developer can come in, make his pro forma work, make his bottom line work, or her, and but at the same time create wonderful public space that lets you thrive. And we want this all to be win-win here.
One question I have is, for all the years, it's always been this developer privatization focus. But Covington, Blacksburg, Harrisonburg, Scottsville, Richmond have all sought through grant processes to have a dedicated facility for a market. Why is the city always looking at this as a private developer doing it versus it becoming a community property and seeking funding and iced tea grants? And USDA puts money in. I think USDA put over $200,000 into Covington. Virginia Tech designed and built the facility for them. So there are a lot of other options besides privatization and development. But I haven't seen City Council ever look at anything different.
Well, what you're bringing up is, again, how to afford this. And there are different models. You're absolutely right. You could have the privates, the public sector essentially giving the land. This is a different era, though. Maybe in 20, 15 years ago, if the city had had that orientation, it might have happened. But the city has just weathered a deficit. We had a $2 million deficit recently. We've been cutting into our capital improvement program budget, meaning we don't have money for big building projects because property values go down, property tax revenue goes down. My priority is to rejuvenate the redevelopment of our corridors, for example, so that we start getting our revenue streams up again. We've got to get more people employed and working. And those are other priorities. So I bring these up because there's a lot of priorities that the council's working with. So to just simply say that we can give away public land is just not going to work.
I'm not suggesting giving away. 10 years ago, before this transfer station was built, there was great discussion of that being the opportunity to incorporate the market. What a better place where all the public transportation comes. And 15 million of iced tea funds were walked away from because they couldn't agree on some politics about parking.
Absolutely.
So
you're highlighting some of the reasons why Brevi and I started, decided we needed to run for city council. There's reasons why.
So it doesn't have to be the city give it away. But maybe they build a public facility.
And the vision we're talking about is not an entirely private vision. This is a public-private partnership.
Well,
because if a developer was in the seat running this thing, they wouldn't take an acre of their prime real estate and put it aside as a plaza.
Right. Well, my concern as a vendor and having been here for almost 30 years and as a farmer, this is the open door. Just like VDAX is going to come and inspect our scales and our kitchens for free. and then in a couple of years it's 40 bucks, and then it's 100 bucks. So we privatize, we get a developer that does it, and it's all great for the first few years till their contract goes up or they go bankrupt and you got another skeleton building on the downtown mall. And then suddenly we're paying a per square foot.
Well,
so I don't see how you can say we're going to do this and actually protect us in the future from suddenly Walmart wants us to pay to use their facility.
One of the things that City Market and Market Central are working on is I think the ideal way to run this is a public-private partnership where a vendor association essentially manages the property. And that means there's no Walmart involved. You guys are in control of your own destiny. And that's the way a lot of the most successful markets in the country are oriented. Somebody does have to manage it. You know, they need to have vendor representation, vendor interests represented. But, you know, I mean, I think the city council is very committed to something.
Yeah, I really do need to say something. What your brain council has to deliberate this. There are many different ways to do it. You can have it be simply the city government provide the land. You can have it be just purely private, or you can have it as a public-private partnership. Those are like three different orientations of just simply how to fund it, let alone how to design it, okay? So there's a lot of different issues still in play here. That's exactly why there's no decision yet. What I'm saying, though, is that the council is committed to making that decision, and we will be looking at all these issues. And absolutely, those kinds of questions also, those kinds of issues need to be raised about what is going to happen after the lease is over in 15 years and it becomes totally private. Or how do you ensure that you as vendors can still afford to be there? This is absolutely essential that we resolve these things. But that's why it's not been resolved yet, because we haven't even gotten to the point where we've decided where the thing goes yet. Okay?
Well, you also have a regulatory issue, because right now it's city property, so city liability. It's VDAX, not the health department. As soon as it's private, it's no longer a VDAX inspection. Now it becomes health department. And all
no
of
one's
our,
talking about it being private. No one's talking about it being private.
Well, if a private developer owns the property and it's not city liability.
They won't own the plaza. They won't own the
That's
plaza.
what the thing that Brevi was talking about, the idea of the public plaza that would always, like, you know, the downtown mall. This is public space.
Well, this has happened in D.C., and there's Fresh Farm Markets there, and it's a huge private corporation, much like Market Central or something,
Right.
running a dozen markets, and it's become highly political, almost impossible to get in as a vendor. Some of the vendors here have applied, and they're obnoxious.
And that's exactly the kind of input we need. That's exactly the kind of input we need to help us make a decision.
And I think there will be several ways for anybody to stay engaged with the process. I think the Charlottesville Market District Alliance is one, and you'll be getting the letter where you can sign on and you can help. I mean, this is at the ground floor right now.
Absolutely.
And so you can help shape the process. You can help influence the outcome by staying actively involved. And through Market Central, too, because we're trying to stay. I mean, you all know that this has been Market Central's goal for how long? And it's so exciting to see other people start to take on the goal that we've had for so long. So stay engaged with it.
And, you know, this is suggesting to me that we do need kind of another process to get these kinds of, specifically these kinds of design and funding issues, you know, it's like a public workshop or something with you all, just to get once we get this process rolling. Right now we're going through the budget for the next fiscal year, so that we're going to be passing this budget April 3rd. After that, that's when we're going to start rolling out our calendar of work sessions about our priorities. And I will stay in close contact, Dave Norris will stay in close contact with Brevi and company, and just make sure that we get this kind of rolling in a very, very constructive way. It makes no sense, absolutely no sense to do something that then doesn't allow you all to thrive in it. It's completely
makes no sense. So sometimes nonsensical things happen though. So I'm very much appreciate your skepticism. But please, this is the beginning. Just as we're saying, this is the ground floor. This is time to get really involved. And I really, again, very impressed with how you all run yourselves. It's wonderful. Would that the world ran like this. Thank you. Thank you.
And just to follow up on Kathy, I mean, I think we absolutely want you guys to be involved. We're trying to also balance respecting that there's already been a lot of feedback from you guys that went into the task force, that went into lots of other meetings that have already happened. And we're trying to move the ball forward and not, we're trying to do some work for you guys, basically. We're gonna be talking to you guys. There's gonna be, you know, you guys are the heart of the market. I mean, none of this is gonna happen without you. We're just trying to move forward on some of the things that have already been deliberated a lot, including where the market should be, where it's best. And there's challenges that go with that. I mean, to Michael's point with the funding issue, I mean, this is a piece of property that's, you know, worth $7 million or something in that vicinity. I mean, there's $200,000 grants for farmers markets. I don't think there's any $7 million grants for farmers markets. I mean, it's going to take some creative, complicated, difficult deal making to make this happen, frankly. This is a lot of work. It's going to be a multi-year process, and we're going to have to involve, you know, the business community in Charlottesville, the Downtown Business Association, the vendors, the customers, the council. You know, everybody's going to have to be part of the solution in this community, and I think we're on good footing there because, frankly, I think this community loves this market and wants to have a permanent home for this market that's a pride of Charlottesville, that's right in the downtown area, and that becomes one of the key things about downtown, like the walking mall and the pavilion, and you know, becomes a key thing that people know Charlottesville for. So that's our vision, and we're going to be coming to you guys with more news as things develop, and it's going to take a while. So. And related to some of the things that we just brought up, the next thing we wanted to discuss was a new vision for how is Market Central hopefully going to better serve you guys. And Market Central, I think, as was probably inevitable with a market that was young and that was smaller many years ago, you know, there was a certain amount of, you guys are the vendors, we need to have some kind of an association, we need to ask you guys for some membership dues to kind of help us be a membership organization, something like that. And the market has evolved a long ways from that. You know, there's 100 vendors now, there's 5,000 people a week that come, there's $150,000 a year in income tax revenue, you know, more than $1 million in sales. And Market Central wants to be a service to you guys because we know you are the market. So we're not doing any more Market Central dues, no more you need to be a member of Market Central. You guys are the market. We're here to serve you. And we have an idea for potentially how to do that this year that might be of value to you guys and of value to customers. And that's this idea of what we're calling Friends of the Market. And Kelly is going to help me explain it.
Good morning. My name is Kelly again. I've lived in Charlottesville for about 28 years now, and I've been a shopper at the market for, gosh, I don't even know how long. Can't remember anymore. But I agreed to join Market Central board last fall because I love the city market. And after being a board member for just a few months, I would like to tell you how impressed I am with the amount of energy, enthusiasm, and commitment there is among this group of volunteers who, like me, all love the market. So, as Brevy said, our purpose is to support and promote the market, both the vendors and the consumers. We're here to make a difference and help the market thrive. And we want to see you, the vendors, prosper. After all, as Brevy said, you are the heart of the market. So we've spent some time over the winter months dreaming up new ideas for ways that we can help. And we found that we have lots of ideas, but, well, not enough funding to make all of them happen. So we had to think about fundraising too. So today we would like to present an idea that we have that will do both. It will promote the market and help us raise some very much needed funds for other ideas that we have coming. This will also be an opportunity for you as a vendor. So the initiative, our new initiative is a program that we're calling Friends of the Market. And here's how it works and how it can benefit you. Consumers will pay a small membership fee to become a friend of the market in exchange for discounts to all the Market Central sponsored events. So last year, you know, we sponsored the farm tour, some canning classes, some kitchen workshops. We also did things like the artisan demo days, the vendor appreciation day. And we plan to expand our list of events for this coming year as new ideas and opportunities arise. All of these events will be advertised in our weekly email newsletter, which will go out to our entire mailing list. You don't need to be a member to be on the mailing list. And currently our email list has over 1,200 people. So some of the consumers we think will join just because they too want to support the market. And then we think that the discounts will encourage some more people to become friends of the market, but that still probably won't be enough. So here's where you come in as a vendor. We're offering you a complimentary membership in our Friends of the Market program. As a member of the Friends program, you will have an opportunity to offer a promotion or a discount of your own and get your business spotlighted in our weekly email newsletter for free. You don't need to do this every week. You don't have to do it at all. But you get to choose how and when this might benefit you and your business. So for example, if we had a heat wave this week and all of your locally grown, no-spray lettuce is starting to bolt and you really need to pick it before you lose it all to the weather, you might decide to offer a Friends of the Market discount just this week, just on lettuce, to help sell your surplus of that product and reduce your loss of that crop. We will promote your business and your discount to our entire mailing list at no cost to you. We see this as a win-win for everyone, for you as the vendor, for the consumers, for the lettuce crop, and of course also for the Friends of the Market program. Now, we know that you might not always know what product you'll need to promote in time to get word out in the email newsletter. So we'll also be advertising these specials on a board at the market on Saturday mornings. So you can also decide on Saturday morning when you get to the market that you have something that you'd like to promote, and that can go on the board. Just come over to the Market Central booth. We'll add your item to our board. You can even decide at 11 o'clock that you need to have a fire sale to move something out. You know, maybe tomatoes are coming in and you're up to your ears in tomatoes and you haven't sold enough today. So at 11 o'clock, you can go over and put your special on the board and we'll get the word out to you. But wait, there's more. There's more. We'll also be collecting a Twitter list, and we will be tweeting messages live from the market about Friends of the Market discounts. Now, you don't have to know anything about tweeting to take advantage of this. We'll do all the tweeting for you. You know, the younger generation loves this way of communicating. And you can benefit from this even if you don't have a cell phone, because we're going to do it. This will especially be beneficial for those 11 o'clock fire sales. Now, excuse me. So how will you know if a consumer is a member of the Friends of the Market program? Well, you'll know because we are going to make up a little plastic tag, kind of like all the other grocery store tags, that they can attach to their market bag or their keychain. That will let you know that they are a friend of the market. That way, when they go to the grocery store with their bag, they're also going to be promoting the city market to everyone there at the grocery store. So we hope that you will take this idea and fly with it. As you think of more ways to support your business sales with our program, the more valuable the membership in the Friends of the Market program will become, and the more members we will get to join. The more members we have in the program, the more people we'll be reaching, and the more benefit this will be to you every time we promote you and your product. So our goal is to grow this membership every year, and this will help raise the money that we need to fund other programs to promote the market. And we'll get you more advertisement every time we send out tweets and emails. So all you have to do to sign up is to add yourself to our email list. You can do that right here on this clipboard. You can also do this online. You're going to get an email about the SNAP program with information, and at the bottom there will be a link where you can just go on and sign up online if you prefer. Or you can come to the Market Central booth any Saturday morning and add yourself on, and we will give you a complimentary tag so that you can advertise for the market and for the Friends of the Market program. No, the basket you have to, you bring your own basket or reusable bag. So, any questions? Feedback?
Sounds great. Sounds good. It sounds like the onset of maybe some program like this to support the community more. You know, I think it'll start out slowly, but if we hang in there, it'll build for sure.
Well, you know, with email, and of course we're on Facebook, and I'm sure Kathy will be doing some promotion on Facebook as well. But this is the kind of thing that can go viral. You know, if we get the newsletter out to 1,200 people, and they share it with 5 of their friends, you know, that's how we're going to capture more business for you.
We've been working already at building that contact list. It's at 1,200 now. There's almost 600 followers already on our Twitter account. So every time I tweet something about Market Central or the city market, there's 600 contacts that are doing that already. So the more we build that, the more, more impact that has.
And the more there is a reason to be a member. Like, because when you're at the market, you want to know what specials are coming up that haven't been announced in the email. Then the more followers we'll get, and then the more use it is. Yes?
What if you don't, I mean, I don't tweet yet, and I know people who don't tweet yet, but we Facebook. Can you Facebook Auntie?
Yeah.
We've got it set up so we can do it all in one piece.
I just want to make sure, because I would never know if you were tweeting in the whole wide world, and a lot of my friends.
The thing is, you don't need to know it.
I mean, if I wanted,
I
wanted to say, hey, Kathy, put this up, I can't tweet you to tell you, because I don't tweet.
No, you can just walk over to the Market Central booth and say, hey, Kathy, I want to send out.
There and Facebook or on.
Oh, I am not sitting there at the market looking at Facebook. Trust me. That is no way to communicate that I have something here that I need to sell. Please help me sell it. Because I'm not looking at Facebook. I'm not looking for things coming to me except visually at the market. So if you have something, come to me or come to whoever's at our table.
Send a runner over.
Yeah.
Just send a runner over.
We should have some little market runners.
That's my problem.
Let us shoot some little kids standing around.
Kids and vendors.
We can work on that though. We can figure out what's easiest for you guys, what works best, text messages, whatever it is.
After we start this, you know, we'll have more ideas and we'll keep refining it. Yes.
I have that raises a question in my head. I'm a sole vendor. I'm the only person in my booth. I have 2 guys who come at 8:30 every Saturday and spell me for half an hour so I can go to the bathroom. It's the best thing that happens to me every Saturday morning. And I'm so grateful to them. But I know there are other vendors who are alone in their booth and don't have anybody. Occasionally I will grab a friend if, I'm desperate. But that might be something that could be set up that Market Central could help organize, and that is a cadre of people who are willing to sit in a booth while the vendor goes to the bathroom. Yay! Yeah.
Okay. It would be a nice, it would be a nice thing.
We'll take that idea down.
Yeah. I mean, just to have somebody you trust to sit there and just hold the fort.
Well, that's the thing. I just discovered that I've only moved 2 spaces over, but my friends that I've been with for 9 years, they're in different places now. So we aren't those girls, you know, walk off. And I know whoever's sitting there knows my stuff well enough to know what it is. I'm going to have to train a whole bunch of new people this time.
We definitely have to be a community here.
But if we can have, like you said, people that we know we can trust, because I mean, that's the thing, is, you know, you can't just grab someone off the street that you don't really know and say, here, can you stand here and, oh, by the way, here's all my money.
Well, this is another reason why we wanted to introduce all the Market Central board members to you. If you see any of us and you need help, please call on us at the market. So I'm going to pass around this board. If you would like to be a member of the Friends of the Market, please put on your email address. Please print clearly. Please put your phone number in case we can't read your email address. We won't otherwise use it, but
just to be clear, everyone can be. I mean, you guys are Friends of the Market. All of you. You don't have to sign any forms. It'd be great if we can get in touch with you easier. You know, anytime you want to come to us and participate in this program, we're ready to hear. So.
Thank you. I'd just like to say something about social media right now. I know Relay is not spending money on marketing, and they're using social media, and they have some promotional things that are working very well. And I think to cut down on advertising and the lobbying at advertising, and then we're on a teeny-weeny scale, social media can start taking the place of all that. And I think if we can support that even on our teeny-weeny scale, it will start changing the face of government. Did I say that? Yeah. On a teeny-weeny scale.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. All right. Well, next up we've got some folks here from the Jefferson Public Citizens Program at UVA. You probably met them last summer. They did the first scientific study of our customers and found out a lot of interesting information. And they're ready to do another survey this year, and they're going to tell you what they're thinking about.
And I'd like to add one more thing to that. When Kathy Galvin was talking, the city councilor, remember how she said we need research to support numbers? We need numbers to be able to show that if we want the market to stay where it is and be able to be put on such a valuable piece of land, that we need numbers to support that argument. This is where a lot of that's going to come from. The research that these ladies have done have already started getting the kind of research done that we needed to show, for instance, that there's 5,000 people coming down there on any given Saturday. And as Ms. Galvin said, those 5,000 people are very important to the business downtown, because we all know they don't just go to the market and go home. So this just wanted to add how important their research is, and they were able to get money to continue their research this year.
And they also brought you guys the bagels this morning.
Well, they're coming up and get ready for their presentation. I wanted to tell you, it's just going to be a few minutes, and then we have an opportunity. So stay with us for just a few more minutes, and we'll get on that next.
So I read somewhere that you lose people's attention after 16 seconds. So I'm going to try to talk really fast about what we're doing. So as Brevi and Seal mentioned, we're a Jefferson Public Citizens team, and we come from UVA. And you might have seen us around last summer wearing gray t-shirts. We were probably really sweaty, asking people to take surveys. It was a 34-question survey that we asked patrons of the market to kind of fill out, that asked questions from how did you hear about the market to what are you purchasing every week to how much are you spending. And then we did this for 6 weeks, I believe. Then we participated in a vendor listening session and then 2 community listening sessions, basically where we presented the data and then opened it up to discussion to hear what people's thoughts were on some of these issues. In December, we presented our results before City Council. And they were very excited to have some data to kind of make some of these decisions off of. So where we are kind of now is, well, we're thinking, well, we've heard from the customers of the market But what do the vendors think? So we worked with Market Central to create this quick 10-question survey that we hope that you all would be willing to fill out. I have some 10s, very few if people don't have any. Do you have more? It should just take a few seconds. All of the results are completely anonymous. You don't put your name or your business on it anywhere, and it's just going to help kind of inform some future decisions about the market to help you. Anything else you want to do you want to help this? Anything else?
And if while we're going through the rest of the meeting, if you could take a couple minutes and fill that out, that would be great. And we would ask that as you're leaving today, is there a collection spot?
I'll leave these 2 boxes in the back. And one thing I forgot to mention is at the top of the survey, there's a website called www.haveastakeInthemarket.com. That's where all of the results from the survey are posted. If you want to know what your customers think, what they want to purchase, how much are they spending, how many people are coming every week, all of that information is publicly available on our website, so feel free to check that out.
All of that website?
The website's listed at the top of the survey. It's www.haveastakeInthemarket.com.
And there's an email on that website as well, so if you ever have anything you want to tell us that you would like us to ask customers, or if you want to know about each other or anything like that, please let us know, because we're in the process of doing more studies over the next year. So we want to be in contact with you as much as we can.
And that website has lots of news articles that have been written about the market. It has graphs that kind of show the data in a little bit of a different way. So.
Okay. And feel free to chat with us afterwards.
So I'll leave these in the back.
They'll be on the bagel table?
The bagel table.
All right, great.
Question. Food producer, does that mean farmer? Or
anybody that produces food?
Well, I make it.
Preparing.
Preparing.
I think that's, yeah. Do you have it, Carla?
So one of the things that we were hopeful to do today, and I'm so happy to see so many people here, but we wanted to get some sort of dialogue going about market issues, but we wanted to frame it in maybe a little more constructive way so that we could take away from this meeting Can I get everybody's attention, please? There was probably a mistake to hand you a survey and then ask you to pay attention to something else. But what we're going to do for the rest of this meeting for just a few minutes is to break folks into smaller groups and give you an opportunity to just get some thoughts out, but to get them out in a way that hopefully is going to be constructive for the market managers and for us to figure out what might need to happen this coming season. Rather than just kind of this barrage with a lot of issues at once. What we're going to do is we've got some, we're going to have some able scribes helping us, but we're going to kind of split into corners. And you can go wherever it makes sense to you, but it's going to be based on topic. So if you can go to one of these corners first, and I'll tell you the topics in a minute, get your thoughts out to that scribe, and then move to another one if you want. If you have nothing else to say, fine. Maybe you'll just have a seat and wait till we finish up. After about 10 minutes, we'll all get back together and kind of go through some of that list just to kind of see where we're at. But do you want to take these down as I direct? The first one here, what can the city and or Market Central do to make the market better for you this season? If you've got some constructive ways that you think you would like, what you would like to see, what you would hope that might happen this summer. How about we say back corner, please? Carla, are you going to be the scribe back there? Okay, so Carla will be scribing notes, so all you got to do is go back there and give her some thoughts. The next one is going to be, how can the vendor advisory board be better utilized this year? Now we know that the vendor advisory board was formed, and we've heard some lukewarm things about how effective it is. But it's really a good opportunity, I think, for you all to be able to use it to make some market decisions. So if you have input or thoughts on that, let's keep you right in that corner. Natalie, are you going to scribe that one? Yeah. All right, Natalie will be scribing that one. Okay, thanks. The next one I hope is going to be fun. We've titled the next word, the 3-word gripe. We know everybody's got some gripes, But your challenge is to give us 3 words that make that gripe very succinct and to put it on the one piece of paper. You're going to be in, are you going to be back in the back of the room back here? Awesome. And I'm going to do the last one here. And the topic is what a vibrant market means to me. And what I'm hoping that you'll do is come forward and maybe give me 10, 15, 30 seconds worth of a statement on video. Doesn't have to be video if you don't want, but we're going to be up front here, and we'd like to start collecting those things from personal stories about what this market really means to you, to your family, to your business, whatever. So that group is going to be meeting up here. We'll do it for maybe 10, 15 minutes. Hopefully have some lively direct discussion. And like I said, feel free to go to all 4 stations during the course of the next 15 minutes or so.
Now.
Okay. So we'll take a few minutes to do that, and then we'll reconvene and kind of share some thoughts and see if there's anything else we need to do. So any questions about what we're doing?
Yeah, well, I mean, what are the 4 topics?
We'll tell you.
All right. Ready?
And remember, there's bagels and bathroom break. It's already been an hour and a half, so circulate.
So now may be the time to get up and find your scribe and get some of those thoughts down on paper or video.
Drink the coffee. There's a pile of it back there.
Kelly, would you scribe up here? I'm gonna
Describe your thoughts. Or you can write it.
Okay, I'll start. Yeah.
Well, it's my first year doing it.
It's a pretty good start.
I've been up to 4 years.
What's that? I'll collect those. Oh, great. I'll take that paper. Right, I'm not on there yet.
Hey, yeah. Good job. Thank you.
Oh. Saying something?
Yeah. You ought to get on the board. So are you filming this?
Yeah.
You're just becoming the malleable.
Right.
I don't think that's it.
Yeah, ask one of the young girls. They're the ones distributing that. We're passing them out. Oh my God, yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, you seen all that too. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, we applied for a grant after that to have a follow-up, statewide follow-up that and we didn't get it. We just found out this past week.
Well, I think right.
That was a good start. And number 2, we talked about having the vendors call these meetings themselves and have a self-assigned organization that was sort of organized by the vendors at that first meeting. And a really big focus was on transparency and publishing publishing anything that happened at these meetings so that everyone was aware of what was discussed at the vendor meetings. And then these things would be published to the vendors, for feedback from all the other vendors that aren't on the board, and having people serve as representatives to certain vendors, and then having a unified voice to be able to present back to Market Central, Parks and Rec, the city, etc. Also, there was a focus on having more communication just about what the group is. Some people didn't even know it existed. What's the mission of this group? When do they meet? How do we know about meetings? Just more communication about what the group is. Only representing the vendors, even if there's customer input or city input, it's all through the eyes of how it would relate to a vendor and everything that's happening. And then making sure that the meetings are planned well in advance, keeping in mind that they're not during, prime time season while kind of everything's prime time. If we can have something in advance, we can plan on it, and hopefully we'll be able to attend. Am I forgetting anything? We also talked about the importance of vendors having a say in the agenda of this meeting. If this annual meeting is going to keep happening, having vendors be able to have input on what's discussed here.
All right. Catherine did this last one, the 3-word gripe. I'm curious.
This one was really fun. The first one was more available shade. Again, make better bathrooms, which we already talked about because those are rough. So more hours, and in these two, there was a little bit of disagreement. Some people felt there needed to be more hours. Some people felt it was too early, I needed to start an hour later. Other people felt the hours are fine as it is, so maybe that's something that in vendor advisory boards that can be discussed further. And if on your survey you feel strongly about either of those points, one way or the other, please let us know. This point, fill-in substitutes for vendors was talked about. And one of the ideas that I threw out was, what about the Charlottesville High School? They have to do so many hours of community service, but maybe they would be, having that group do the carrying bags would be a lot better. So I think that that's something that a lot of people talked about, that there has to be someone you can trust. So maybe if you all have ideas, we were talking about what people you would feel comfortable leaving your booth with. So that's something that I guess could keep being talked about. It's all lovely. It was my personal favorite. Same rules for all, and I thought that was the example that was given was really good. And correct me if I say it wrong. Was if you're there week to week and you sell bread, you have to package it in a bag, put the ingredient list, and you have rules you have to follow. But if somebody comes in for a day, they don't have to go through that trouble and follow the same rules, and they can still sell, and that's not fair. So I think the point was to have more oversight over that. Is that?
Everyone has that. Everyone should do that.
They're
Okay.
supposed to.
Well, I guess they felt like not everyone always did.
It took me a while to learn that. It really did, so.
And then more vendor space, because people felt like they couldn't display adequately in the amount of vendor space, but they also recognized that that's going to have to come from an actual market space. They need market.
Wonderful. Thank you. That was an interesting way to do some of those gripes. Kelly, do you want to keep eating your bagel and let me do this, or do you want to come up? This last question that Kelly scribed was what a vibrant market means to me.
Okay, well, there were lots of answers that had to do with money, how much money you made for the day. A vibrant market, somebody said, makes my business possible because without this I wouldn't make enough money to keep my farm going. Customers enjoying themselves, having a diversity of vendors, and equal access for all the vendors, especially having to do with size, that little vendors can come in and be next to great big vendors. A mixed layout of the vendors, so not all the jewelry makers are all lined up in a row, but the products are mixed throughout the market. Good relationships between vendors and consumers. A festive atmosphere having to do with the sound, maybe having music and the hustle and bustle and laughing. Consumers who appreciate the quality of local products, appreciate what you can buy at the market. Exposure to other business or sales opportunities, for instance, if you're a food producer, perhaps catering a consumer's other event, something outside of the market. And the last was that the market continues to grow, and if it doesn't, that we should look into why that would be.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for so much wonderful input. What we're going to do after today is kind of digest that into a simple document that we can forward to Stephanie and to, no, you can. What happened?
I was in a conversation.
It's all right. What I was just saying, Stephanie, is that what we'd like to do is to kind of digest all those things into one. I can do that, digest it into one, send it to you, and hopefully some of these ideas and these feelings will be incorporated into the year. And certainly some of the suggestions that we've seen about what we can do this summer, Market Central will certainly take to heart and see if there's some way that we can help do that. We have a couple of quick announcements. The farm tour will be going on again this year. I haven't even really been thinking about it much, but maybe you have. I hope you have. Last year we had 19 farms participate. I hope to have at least that many again this year. It's been a real interesting, a real good program for our market customers to get a little better acquainted with you. So I'll be communicating more directly with producers over the next few weeks to start, but I want to get it on your radar. It happens every year on Labor Day. It will always be on Labor Day. We start collecting names of farms and information in May. We start solidifying that list and asking for a commitment in June. We go to press in July. So it happens a little bit ahead of maybe where you want to think about it, but I want to be sure that we get it on your radar.
Kathy, if I say just a little bit about the tour? That's something. Now, I grew up in small town Wisconsin. I grew up not on a farm, but around farms a lot. But I'm always amazed, and I've taught classes to kids, environmental studies and things like that, and teaching about local food. And I'm just always amazed by what a difference it makes for them to go there. We went last year to the local food hub farm, and just some of these kids who, they have no clue where their food comes from a lot of the time. And so if you haven't hosted before, but you've thought about it at all, I know it's kind of a pain in some ways, but dang, when people go there, it makes a big impression on them. I've seen it as a volunteer. Yeah. If you've hosted.
We don't have a farm. No, we were guests, and I can testify that my children have the poster in their bedroom still and talk about that they went to see where the chickens and the vegetables. Yeah.
And of course, if you think about it too, if you get the kids out there, you're cultivating your future customers. It's just a really powerful thing, I think, and I'm really glad that Kathy does it.
And it creates a relationship with the consumer that creates loyalty.
And there's a number of growers that are starting to understand what our concept is with the farm tour, are starting to develop some programs at their own farm that might attract people to come visit. If you've got 19 or 20 farms to choose from, well, how are you going to decide? And a lot of it is done geographically because we cover a huge area. So it really makes sense if you are in the northeast quadrant and there are 3 other farms in vague vicinity. If that looks like a loop to you, it really behooves you to talk to those other farms and kind of conspire about the things that you're going to do, or the timing if you have any kind of special events during that farm tour. Coordinate a little bit. And if you sign up to be on the farm tour, you'll know who the other farms are, you'll know who the other growers are at the market, and we will rely on you to kind of make those connections on your own, because that'll make the most sense for you.
Do you need special insurance to have people come onto your property?
There is a blanket coverage through, I can't quote the language right at the moment, but no, the answer is no.
And almost all homeowners insurance can cover that. That's what we were advised.
Yeah. The Artisan Demo Day that we did last year in June, I think was pretty popular. We'd like to try to do it again. If there are artisans here who are interested in doing it again, we'll talk with Stephanie about a convenient date, and that was a lot of fun. And I'd like to look forward to doing that again this year and try to promote some of the artisan vendors. One of the things that we didn't talk about earlier was we'd like to take in our newsletter a chance to spotlight some individual vendors, including some snapshots of your farm or your studio or your kitchen or wherever it is, to kind of tell your story a little bit to some of the readers of our newsletter. So if you're game to let somebody come out and just do a little story on you and shoot some pictures and all, we'd love the opportunity to do that. So you can talk with us afterward. Am I missing anything?
But if you didn't get a chance to sign up, here's the clipboard. It'll be right up here.
Yes. How about getting
That's
Friends
Friends of the Bar
Right.
program.
We got a few little kind of reel-in things. There's another clipboard that's circulating with has a blue header across the top. Okay, that one is to make sure that we want to make sure that we're communicating with you folks. And I know it's real easy to kind of slip through the cracks, but if you give us your email address, we'll make sure that you get the communications from us about the stuff that we've talked about today. The vendor surveys, the boxes on the bagel bar, is that right? Yes. Where's some looking for? Okay. If you haven't already turned them in, they can go turned in on your way out. What else are we missing? Anything else?
Slips if you want to do the EBT.
Right. If you want to do the EBT, those little half-page agreement slips, there's a couple of blanks still here. You can turn them. Yeah. We'll sort them out. Just make sure you leave them there.
I was just going to ask if you wanted us to leave the markers around the board, so in case people didn't get around to all of
Yes.
them.
Yes.
Just for a few minutes, yeah.
You can just write your own.
I wish in the future y'all would consider a springtime tour. Because my 6 greenhouses are
We've had that
and hot.
discussion.
And there's nothing for them to see in a greenhouse that's 125 degrees. It's that shortness of breath.
We've talked about this before, and I love that idea.
But I've got greenhouses that are almost full of land. Now for somebody to come out is before
That's
buy
a
them
good
all
point.
day.
That's a really good
Put
point.
that on the,
If,
on one of the,
One of the things, but maybe we can talk about this individually afterwards, is instead of the full-fledged farm tour, would it be something that we could promote, like say a Sunday open house for greenhouse vendors? And we wouldn't staff it necessarily or sell tickets to it, but we could list it on the website, list all these, but if everyone had them on the same day, would that be helpful? Because and I know,
We should do it by region.
well, it sounds like you'd almost have to do it by date. I mean, because you got a critical time when you're wanting to sell these
well,
starts.
it's something to think about.
But it's something to think about. But Nathan, if that's something that you might be interested in doing, and anybody else that has small plants, I'd be happy to hear those thoughts. So maybe talk to me afterwards and we'll see what we can't do.
I just have one more thing too, and I wonder if other people feel this way. I wonder if it would help the holiday market if the market were just advertised as being open April through December, the downtown market. Because we fall off so much because people think that we close when Mead closes and Penn closes. So if we could advertise April through December, then we might hold on to some more people.
That's real true. A lot of people think that, oh,
Yeah, the first,
back will be here next weekend.
Yeah, and then we have to do that thing of, well, next week it'll be this, well, and then I've said the wrong thing a million times, so.
Could we
We're
just
putting together a new brochure, and our marketing is going to say that.
Okay.
Our marketing does say that.
Well, this is the main market, April through October.
Holiday market.
What are we talking about? Like printed?
Anything, just so that there's no delineation between the regular
Because everything that I
downtown.
send out says April through December. Because I don't want it to be separate anymore.
Right, that holiday
It's still
market
the city
thing.
market
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned. As far as the time change, I mean, we've had votes, I don't know if everyone knows this, but it was voted to change it from 8 to 1.
during November and December?
Right.
November and December.
That's great. That's super.
No.
But I think that's a real good point, because there's a lot of confusion about it.
There's an enormous amount of confusion with me. I know I've said the wrong thing. I know that.
But there does come
to
a
me
point
as-
where, from the manager's point, that they're changing over the layout and the vendors.
Yes.
So you have a delineation to make there,
Right.
but not to the public.
Right. We shouldn't make it to the public because they get confused.
Yes.
Any other, Linda?
Well, when we were down here, you really think confusion. No one came. So you think that the holiday market is slow now? You don't know what slow is. Do you, Michael?
Linda, did you have anything?
Well, this is painful. This is really an announcement.
Hey, wait a minute. We just got a couple of announcements left and we'll be done.
Next Thursday, March 15th, we have a statewide effort kicking off. It's called the $10 a Week Campaign. And it will be, the press releases will be coming out from lots of different organizations. I'm working with the Virginia Food System Council. It's about challenging every household in Virginia to spend at least $10 a week on locally grown food. And what that would mean is that within a year we would bring in $1.65 billion to the local economy. And that could buy a lot of stuff that Virginians need. So just listen out for this campaign. It will be advertised by the Virginia Farm Bureau, the Cooperative Extension, the Food System Council, and lots of other organizations. And just know that all of this is to support you guys and the great work you do, making people healthy. That's my aspect. Is what great work you do to build the health of Virginia.
Thank you, Lynn.
Watch for that.
Yeah, I think we have one last announcement that Brevi's going to make, and I think we're going to be done.
You may not have heard about this yet, but there's going to be a new big festival in Charlottesville this year called the Tom Tom Founders Festival.
Oh yeah, when is that?
It's going to start on April 13th, Thomas Jefferson's birthday. It's going to go for a month, and then the kind of culminating big weekend is a month later, May 12 and 13. And it's going to be a lot of music. There's 50 bands already lined up, and art, a lot of art, public art, art galleries. And then the third element of it is innovation. And fortunately, the organizers realize one of the things that Charlottesville innovates in and does really well is local food. And so there's going to be a focus on local food on the 12th. And we all knew that, I'm also on the organizing board of that, the city market's probably the single best thing we do related to local food. So we timed it to coincide with the city market. It's going to be from 10. May 12th. Did I say something different?
You just said the 12th. No, it starts April.
May 12th. May 12th. May 12th. So it's going to be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., meaning, we'll get people in there with the market and while they're at the market, and then also in the 12 to 2 period, you guys are welcome to, it's going to basically be an extension of City Market on South 1st Street towards the mall, basically where the Southern is, that strip of, and there'll be room for some of our local restaurants to have little demos and be giving out food, and some of our food groups to be talking and things. So it's basically a supplement to what you guys are already doing for the market, but there'll be a few speakers, and basically we'd love any vendors to come over and participate and mingle afterwards, enjoy some of the food. There'll be a few speakers, that kind of thing. So just wanted to put it on your radar.
Brevi, could you give these people, tell them about Tanya Dankler-Cobb signing a book in case
you might be interested today at 1 o'clock. Tanya Dankler-Cobb, who's a professor at UVA, wrote a book in the last year about local food.
I forget the name of it, but it's good.
Reclaiming Our Food.
Reclaiming Our Food. Yeah. She's doing a book signing today at Barnes & Noble at 1 o'clock.
So right from here you can go there. Buy her book.
Yeah. So why don't we give everybody a round of applause? You guys
Thank you, everyone, for showing up.
Thanks for all the great ideas.
Thanks for all the ideas. And we will see you April 7th. Before that?
Yeah, that was
See you at the market. I'm looking forward to it. We can leave these out, but we'll just
Mike, did you know about that book she wrote? It was in the Sunday paper. Reclaiming.
I'll read a paper.